goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Well, there is no joy in Mudville. How you doing? I thought I'd be more dispirited than I am, but I think metaphorically it's wonderful. There's this almost impenetrable looking fog still hanging over PNC Park. You can't even see it. It's like it's been obliterated. Well, I've decided that the Chicago Cubs are the team of destiny this year, that there's no stopping them, and I want to warn the great St. Louis Cardinals, they're going to kill you. They are. I see the Cubs going all the way. Mark my words. The Cubs. I mean, often World Series winners come right through here in a wild card game. Oh, dear. It's only a game. I am not in the greatest physical condition, I just want you to know. And if I begin hacking, coughing again, we'll just cut the mic and go to a commercial. Just so you know, that could happen. And I know my energy has been a little down this week, but that's because I'm under par. So, that said, I guess there's lots of things to turn our attention to. How about we start off nice and easy with the latest fad in Beijing, China. And the feeling is it might end up spreading over here. Let us hope not. The latest fad in Beijing is if you are young and hip and cool, you are wearing a plastic bean sprout coming out of your head. Don't ask. The picture you get in your head, yes, it looks that silly. It has since gone from the simple bean sprout, although that is what most people are sporting, to larger displays of foliage and fruit and vegetables. so that it is not unusual to see somebody with a pine tree, a plastic pine tree, maybe sitting next to a zucchini on their heads. There are vendors, the entrepreneurial spirit in Red China is going very strong, because no sooner did this fad start up than, just like in New York City, when it rains, all of a sudden there's 5,000 umbrella, provisioners popped up on the street selling umbrellas. Well, in China now, there's everywhere, every corner, they're selling these absurd bean sprouts and other such. What do you think, Celine? Would you wear one of those? Celine would not, and I'm glad to hear it. A sales assistant who was carefully, this is from the New York Times, a sales assistant, Wang Yu, who was carefully arranging 3 flowers and a cherry stem on her friend's head, said to the reporter, "Some people think it's cute. Some people think it's just plain infantile." Well, we're going with the latter, I think. It's just so silly. It's just silly. But this shows how China is a very changed country. I don't think Mao would have looked kindly on people, especially young girls, wearing these things on their head. And somebody suggested it might be a sort of a subtle protest against the lousy air and the environmental conditions in China, suggesting that the only thing that could grow is maybe a bean sprout out of somebody's head. I don't know, but God forbid that ends up over here. I'm just telling you right now, I ain't doing it. No one really knows where it started, as so often is the case. Although you would think with the, it's internet related, you would think that you could forensically get back to the first person who did it. But it obviously all it took was one picture or something. I don't know. Then the entrepreneurs, then the people who make, plastic manufacturers say, "Hey, jump on this. We can turn out 500,000. But showing that the free enterprise system with the marketplace economy has come to Red China. The fact that this has become such a quick and immediate fad, the price of one little bean sprout has, with the proliferation of people selling these things, the price has gone from just weeks ago 80 cents for a bean sprout to stick on your head to, what did I see, 5 or 10 cents. So you can, the plastic bean sprout purveyors, I'm sure, are going to be closing up shop pretty soon and looking for the next. Yeah, then whatever the next thing is. It's interesting that there are people who make their living being that out front on what's that aware of what's going on, and then somehow find the dealer, find the manufacturer of whatever it is. I'm really impressed by these people that you see on the streets who are tuned in and immediately would understand what the demand at that moment would be, and they're there with the object that is in demand, such as an umbrella. I think it's wonderful. At any rate, so see, that's something nice and easy. And I have another thing, I think. Did I have another? Oh, yeah, I think this is good news. Remember I told you months and months and months and months and months ago that there was this little college that none of us ever heard of. And it was sitting in the forests of northern New York State. And it was on, like many private little liberal arts schools, falling on very hard times, student population down, the cost of an education there up, and great concern that it could survive. The college, Paul Smith's College. Ever heard of that? Paul Smith's, Smith apostrophe S College. No doubt about it. That college is Paul Smith's college. So, turns out that one of the richest Americans has a home. Of course, these are people who have a lot of homes. They have a home, probably a little getaway place in upstate New York where they can escape from Wall Street. The Weill family. This is the Wall Street billionaire Sanford Weill and his lovely wife, Joan. And they have spent a lot of time up there, so they got to know this crazy little school and liked it, and have given money to them in the past, so that the school now has buildings because of them, and facilities because of them, and all of them are named after the wife, Joan Weill. So it's the Joan Weill cafeteria and the Joan Weill biology building or whatever. And then the Joan Weill said to this struggling school, you know what? I will give you $20 million. But one provision. You must rename the school. Now, she was willing to share. You must rename the school, get this, Joan Weill Paul Smith's College. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Never mind that it doesn't fall trippingly off the tongue. Never mind that nobody ever heard of Paul Smith's College, and the likelihood of them hearing of Joan Weill / Paul Smith's College was even less so. But that's, and she stuck to her guns. I mean, she said, that's it. The alumni went nuts and said it's an outrage, blah, blah, blah. The administration went nuts saying, oh, God, of course, yes, come on in. We'll put your name everywhere because $20 million is going to save us, possibly. Save us from the brink, save my job. So the people currently on the campus thought it was a fine idea. Somebody sued and said the provision in the founding documents of this college, which was founded in, 18-something or other, 99, said specifically that it is to forever be called Paul Smith's College. So it went to court. And I'm happy to tell you that a lowly state judge in upstate New York said, sorry, the college cannot accept that gift with that provision. There is no way that the college can violate the provision in its founder's will that said the college would in perpetuity be called Paul Smith's College. So, Joan Weill has yet to be heard from. It is not known whether there will be what I don't get is, doesn't Joan Weill realize this makes her look like the biggest ass in the world? What she wants to be seen as a beneficent, bountiful provider and philanthropist. Doesn't she see that the way people would react to this is, you are a horse's ass, lady. If you care about the college, give them $20 million. They already got your name plastered on every urinal, every building, every library on the damn campus. Let poor old dead Paul Smith have his damn failing college. Jesus. God. I don't suppose the Weills are used to having little hick rural upstate New York judges trample all over their 1% privileges. Anyway, I thought that was good news because I hadn't seen how that worked out. And going back to the game, can I just say one thing that I just want to know, and I don't know, I suppose a lot of you didn't even watch, but those of you who did, there was, you know how you always look at, there's camera shots, obviously trained on the home plate, on the batter, like this. So there's a shot of the batter like that, and so you see the people sitting behind the batter. And invariably, I don't like the people sitting behind the batter. Because those seats are not, first of all, they ain't the cheap seats. Those seats are usually seem to go to people, obviously, who have lots of money and or pull, and who, as I watch games all the time, don't even necessarily seem to be that interested in the game, you know. Well, they're just showing their status. I got a front row seat right behind home plate. Not that I give a shit about any of this, you know. So that's generally what I see. Not always. I'm painting with a very broad brush here. But in the course of the dispiriting game last night, my son pointed out to me a kid that was in about row 2 or 3, right behind home plate. But he was not in his seat. He was standing in the aisle, on the steps. He was dressed probably down to his jock strap, I betcha, in an absolute perfect Pittsburgh Pirate uniform. He looked exactly like one of the players, except he was about 4'2", and I'd put the kid about maybe 5, 6 years old. So obviously he belongs to some people with the money to take their little 5-year-old to this big game, to dress him up in to the nines. And this kid spent the entire game standing on the steps there, right behind the pitcher. And when the Pirates were pitching, he mimicked he did every throw with. Now, initially, when my son saw it, he thought it was a riot. He thought it was cute. I said, yeah, that's sort of cute. Then, when they're at bat, he's like this, and he's at bat. After a few innings of this, I started to get annoyed. First of all, I didn't want to see the little rich kid doing his little, thing. And my son is on me saying, a kid's just having some fun. Boy, are you a... I said, I think he's a little spoiled brat. And if I were in the row behind him, I would say, sit down, you little rich brat. Okay, so not surprisingly, he begins trending on Twitter. Right. People start talking about, well, it's a lousy game, but check out the kid. And I got even more annoyed because I thought, okay, so the parents got the kid. I started imagining, and my son says I'm insane. These parents not only got their kid the perfect uniform, but they got him the perfect placement, the seat, and they knew full well the kid was going to be right there on TV, on national television. And I'm willing to bet you that they fully intended him to become a trending Twitter thing. That's how, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I thought it was way too, they often cut away to kids at the baseball games, and lots of little kids go to these games, which is one of the wonderful things about a baseball game. The little kids. And the kids a lot of them have fun. Mine never did, but he was always, when's the pierogi race? Can I get some Dippin' Dots now? Can I have cotton candy? Can I get a hot dog? When's the pierogi race? So, but some kids, you can see they're really into it. Now, this kid was obviously into it. And I'm not angry. I said to my son, it's not the kid it's his parents. I'm serious. So you're seeing a side of me that is not nice. Is that right? Is that nice? I'm sick of kids not sitting where they're supposed to sit and thinking they're the center of the universe and ain't I friggin' cute and I'm going to do every little one and every little this and I'm going to bat and I'm going to pitch because I'm the most wondrous person in the universe. My parents say so and I get to be on Twitter now and I'll probably get written up in the paper and only Lynn Cullen, that bitch, thought I wasn't cute. Okay, I just had to get that off my chest. William writes, is Joan Weill Paul Smith College so bad when you stop to think about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse? That is an odd name, isn't it? Never thought of that. Huh. Margie says she doesn't see me wearing bean sprouts. She sees me as more of an eggplant woman. But an eggplant is a big thing to stick on your head. These are just little whispers of something. Okay. Celine, are you trying to find the little jerk kid?
I can.
No, I don't want. No, I'm sure he's findable.
I was trying to find the spelling of Weill.
Oh, the spelling of Weill? Weill. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can I rant about just one more thing now that I've got my bilious fluids up and running? So I had to drive down this morning because I have to zip out of the downtown to an undisclosed location immediately after the show. And I get out of my car and I walk toward the thing where you push all the buttons and you put your credit card in and it says it can't read the card. That thing. And there's a man standing in front of it. And I can tell from his posture I'm in trouble. Because he's sort of slumped and he's sort of got this look on his face. And so I stand respectfully, sort of like, at an ATM machine, you don't want to get right up behind somebody. You give him some space. I let him, assuming he had normal peripheral vision, I positioned myself so he would know another person was waiting to use the machine, but at a distance. This guy must have punched 5,000 buttons. I'm not kidding you. The sound started driving me crazy. Then backs up, looks quizzical again, then and now I know the way these things work. There's no way you put in that many. You don't do that. I'm thinking, what? He's getting nowhere. I waited. I'd say about 3 minutes. That's a lot of time considering I got out of my car, and in the old days I would have plugged a meter right there and gone on my way. So I thought, oh, shit. So I walked a block to the next one. Cannot read the card. Cannot read your card. My card's perfectly fine. But while I was doing that, cannot read my card, I saw an extraordinary thing. because I was standing very near the Planned Parenthood office here that was, as usual, surrounded by a bunch of people holding up grotesque pictures of mutilated fetuses. And while I was cursing at the cannot read your card, cannot read your card, cannot read your card, I hear bang! And I look, and I'm still not sure what I saw. It was either a blind person with a cane took down a whole bunch of... And I don't think the person was blind. I don't. It was just too well executed. It was... Well, I don't know. Partially blind. I don't know. But man, those right-to-lifers went berserk. You should have seen them screaming at that poor blind person as they made their way. It was right. It was good. It was great. I love the city. Except for those... God. All right. Hi, Lynn, Denise writes. Curmudgeons unite. I would have been distracted and annoyed, too. Now, obviously, I was annoyed because we were losing. If maybe we were winning, I would have been annoyed. I know I would have been annoyed, but less annoyed. Overindulgent parents who don't care about the other people trying to focus on the game. Their little darling's so cute. Doesn't everybody think so? Well, no, we don't, says Denise. Thank you, Denise. I'm sick of these parents. I'm sick of them and their cute little kids. We all got cute little kids, okay? Okay, now what? I know I said something nice about Vladimir Putin a few weeks ago. I take it all back. He is a scary son of a bitch. He is. He's like, what the hell? I mean, it's like all of a sudden we got to worry about the Russian military. And at first it was just, nah, we don't. The Ukrainians do. Who cares? But now, my God, what do you think? So now they're bombing the hell out of the anti-Assad rebels. Those aren't necessary. That's not ISIS. They're there protecting that bloodthirsty, evil man who supposedly saved his... What? Half his country is either dead, drowning, schlepping through Slovenia. I mean, God. But that's Putin's guy. And he's got his... They got rockets. The rockets the Russians are using, are being fired from ships. Did I read it right? 800 miles away? Did I read that right? I suppose I did. And these rockets, I'm sure we got rockets like this too. They can fly literally just a few feet off the ground. They, once let loose, can be reprogrammed if whatever their target is moves. So can you imagine you're standing in your yard, a rocket, a huge thing, zooms by you at eye level, and then all of a sudden makes a right turn because it just got reprogrammed. Zips through valleys, under bridges, who knows what, blah, blah, blah. When it nears its target, up it goes, and then like a eagle on its prey, zap. Well, you got all these other countries over there with their military. You got the French flying in. We got us. The chances of something going slightly wrong, of perhaps U.S. or certainly NATO countries ending up getting shot down by a Russian fighter jet. Guys, this is how like real scary wars happen, guys. Vladimir, who, by the way, just turned 63 yesterday. You know how I know? Because it's like a national holiday in Russia. The cult of personality surrounding Vlad is really mind-blowing. So that he got to play a hockey game with the greatest hockey players in Russia, which would be some of the best hockey players in the world. And isn't this amazing? Let me see. He was playing against some of the best hockey players in the world. And what is this? He scored something like 7 goals. Is he not something else? Oh, here's a guy who he knows they're letting him win, and he still prances around, and everybody acts. And this was televised all over. This was national. This is what the Russians got to look at for entertainment. Ugh. Scary guy. Colette writes, if you Google the kid, he was at last year's wild card game, too. Oh, see, they got a little business going, the parents. Sorry, I don't agree with you. Seeing a kid really get into the game is great unless he's in front of me. Well, he was in front of a whole bunch of people. It's annoying. Here's how I know it's annoying. Because at the last wild card game I went to, I had one of those big black pirate flags, the big ones, and I had a front row seat, not front row up, up there, the front row. And so I was in a perfect position to wave the Jolly Roger, which I did with great gusto. I have to tell you, I waved it so much that what are those, obliques? Oh my God, I was in agony for days after, because that's heavy. You got to go like this. It's great exercise. You're waving this thing in sort of I like this. And anyway, at one point, an usher came up to me and said, excuse me, we have some complaints from people behind you that, you're annoying them. I said, I'm waving the Jolly Roger, for God's sakes. That's annoying. But I sat down. Somehow nobody... If the kid was there last year, too, doing the same thing, I'm sorry. There's genuinely cute kids. This is a cute little spoiled brat rich kid. And that's what I have to say to him. Little Lord friggin' Fauntleroy. That's who that was. He probably goes to Shady. He's going to go to Shady Side Academy for $50,000 a year. Reminds me of some graffiti I saw in 1975 in New York City. And it was like up Columbia University. It was big. I'd never seen this one before. And it said in big red letters, "Eat the rich." And I liked it. It made my father nervous. Hey, did you see that Harry Reid is suing the maker of that, those exercise bands? Because that's what he almost killed himself, He had one attached to Harry Reid, former speaker, when the Democrats controlled the Senate, Speaker of the House. Senate majority. No, Senate. Yeah, majority leader. And he had one of these things. It's called a TheraBand. I've used those. He had it attached to something, and he was doing his exercises with it, resistance training with it, as he always did. and it snapped. It came off. He was twirled around, went flying, smashed his head on a cabinet of some sort, broke the bones around his eye, fractured ribs, a concussion, cuts, bruises, and he has now lost a great deal of vision in his one eye. He really got beat up by that. It was a potentially fatal thing. So he's now suing the company, which has a very odd name, Hygienic Intangible Property Holding Company. Hygienic Intangible? Those are two adjectives that, I mean, I can see hygienic maybe in a corporate name. If it's dealing in, something having to do with where sterilization would be important. But hygienic, intangible property holding group, corporation, is like nuts. Anyway, he's suing him. And not for a lot. He's suing him for, $80,000? I'd go for more than that. But the lawsuit is also seeking damages. Oh, no. I think this is the law. It just says he's seeking more than $50,000 in damages. That means they're seeking a hell of a lot more than that. But part of also his sad story that he's taking to court is one that you see a lot in these kinds of cases. It says he seeks damages for the loss of marital consortium. Well, because, he just didn't feel up to stooping his wife because of this. And so the harm is not to him. It's to the wife. Because, you can only go so long before you want to get stooped by Harry Reid. And that is, really tough to have to live without Harry Reid stooping you. So I think you should. I don't know how many thousands that would be worth. I really don't. Okay, what else we got? Oh. All right. I know I've been pretty light today. Ow, God, my injury, my shoulder, it's been killing me lately again. This is like 2 years later. What the hell? God, I can hardly. I mean, just during the show, at one point I went up like this, and I hope you didn't see it on my face. Just shooting pain. Oh, man. Now, actually, I tripped over a table at a friend's house. I could sue them. That table was not placed well. Placed too close to the couch. And if someone was sitting on the couch, as happened to be the case, especially someone who's like 6'5", with exceedingly long legs stretched out, so that I had to attempt to get around his legs, since he was also an asshole who didn't withdraw his legs, seeing I was trying to sit on the same couch. And I ended up hooking my foot around the table leg, and the rest is history. I mean, 20 surgeries later and unbelievable pain and suffering. Hello, caller.
Yes, Clarence. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. I want to apologize, but women don't want to get stooped by a Harry Reid. I just found funny. the way my brain works. I mean, I literally laughed out loud, not just an LOL.
Yeah.
Literally laughed.
A guffaw.
I said, that's funny. It's like one of those things that you say that's hilarious, but you don't realize it. That's funny. So everything about it. Shtup.
Just
I like
stop.
that
Well,
word.
any Yiddish word is always right there. I mean, you're
By a Harry Reid.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I ran. My phone wasn't in this holder. I'm like, where is my phone? I went to the kitchen. So that's all I have.
I'm glad. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And Beth writes, Lynn, that kid was at the game last year. We lost. That kid was at the game this year. We lost. Dear parents of this kid, writes Beth, please keep the little jinx home next year. Thank you, Beth. I mean, since he's right there behind the batter doing that, you would think he'd be annoying our pitchers, too, doing it. This little ass mirroring there every... I don't know. I'm sorry. Not all kids are cute. Not all kids who think they're cute are cute. Not all kids you think are cute. And I'm here to tell you that. Not cute. Annoying. Okay, maybe I won't tell you this. Yeah, I will. You know how much I love Pope Francis. Well, some video has surfaced in which he's saying something that so does not sound like him, as far as we know him. And it's very upsetting. But since I have been so, I'm not here to censor the news. I'm here to share it with you and to opine about it. So here's what I'm talking about. This happened in May, so some months ago, and it happened in St. Peter's Square, where the Pope regularly, of course, does his thing. And he was out and about, the Pope, and saying hello to tourists in St. Peter's Square. And a group of tourists from Chile, South America, were there. So I'm sure this happened in Spanish and blah, 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 blah. And some guy that was there was videotaping this, so this is why we know this is true. There's a city in southern Chile called Osorno. And a bishop there has been under attack. A bishop that was elevated by Francis has been under attack by the locals because the locals say he was privy to, and in some cases part of, sexual abuse of children. Or at least he covered it up. Whatever. They really want this guy's head. And here's what the Pope said to these people who brought that up. When they had the chance to talk to the Pope, they brought that up. And he said, quote, "The Osorno community is suffering because it's dumb. Don't be led by the nose, by the leftists who orchestrated all of this." That's what the Pope said. So he was saying, now, so much for, him being a leftist. He blamed it on leftists. And then the New York Times has a piece on this, and then it goes on to say how there's, two sides to it, that blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you, the people of the town, I'm thinking the people of the town know. They know these guys. And what happened is there was a priest there who was doing this. And he has been sent out to pasture. I want to see exactly what. Oh, Father Karadima was, in fact, found guilty of sexual abuse by the Vatican in 2011 and ordered to a life of seclusion, prayer, and penitence. Why not jail? And according to some of that priest's victims, the bishop, a guy named Barros, who was appointed by Pope Francis to head the diocese just this year, was complicit in the sexual abuse and was at times witness to it. One particular victim, a guy named Juan Carlos Cruz, contends that the bishop was frequently present in Father Karadima's bedroom when he and others were abused, or that he threatened seminarians who dared to suggest something was awry. Every time when Barros was installed as bishop, hundreds of people were out in the street demonstrating against him. These are Catholics. So now, the Pope again said, the people in that community are suffering because they're dumb. They've somehow fallen, have let their heads be filled with... Oh, here, I didn't give you the whole thing. Because he's dumb. And the Pope went on to say, it has let its head be filled with what politicians say, judging a bishop without any proof. Don't be led by the nose by the leftists who orchestrated this. Those are all the words of Pope Francis. I don't know. Oh, dear. Sorry, I know that because we were having a good time, but there you go. I don't know I don't know. I ain't ever been there. I don't know any of these people. I don't know anything. He said, she said. But for the Pope to speak disparagingly of people who are... That just doesn't seem like the guy we thought we knew. Right? You mean he's human? I guess so. Okay, so, so they're giving out Nobel Prizes left and right. This is the week. They just awarded this morning the Nobel Prize in Literature to, as usual, someone you never heard of and whose books or works you've never read. And a lot of that is because we're so, we only pay attention to our own, or to English speaking, right? So I think the person who got the award is a woman, first of all, and a woman from, I don't know, some country that doesn't speak English. I never heard of her, but she's got a Nobel Prize for Literature now. So the Wall Street Journal says that the way it works, and I never knew this, is the Nobel Committee who decides who gets these awards. They didn't decide who got the literature award till this morning. The committee actually meets, and then as soon as they have voted on a winner, they get on the phone and they call that person. Now, if that person is to the east of Oslo, they are often awakened at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever, by this call. There are no nominations for the Nobels. So nobody knows if they're in the running. And Nobels are often given for work that was done 20 years earlier, after it becomes apparent that that work done by some chemist or, some physicist led to something extraordinary, right? So these guys who are winning these things, this comes out of the blue, generally wakes them up. Now, every scientist who might even, or author who has hope or dreams of winning a Nobel would know maybe that they would know they're being given out this week. And so if their phone rings at 3 a.m, they might actually think, oh my God, this is it. And it might not be, but. So anyway, the guys who call from Oslo often get hung up on. Or the person doesn't answer the phone. They tell a story of the biochemist. No. Here it is. Princeton, Dr. something Mello, Princeton University, said the phone rang at, some ridiculous hour. And, of course, like every good husband, he rolled over and said to his wife, hey, check that, will ya? Check the area code check the area code. And she said, I think it's from Texas. And he said, it's a wrong number, I don't get it. It was, they called back. They just keep calling in those situations. And then finally when the person, there's an actual protocol that the people from the Nobel Committee follow because they know that this is so often happens. Disbelief on the other end, the people on the other end thinking it's a prank, they don't believe it. So they have this, they go in the person making the call has a Swedish accent. Wait, I said Oslo. Swedish, yeah. The Nobel Peace Prize. Isn't that given out in Oslo? Oh, God, what do I know? Royal Swedish Academy of Science. Sorry, I'm an idiot. No. Oslo ain't in Sweden. So it'd be, I don't know, wherever. So the first thing they say is hello, in whatever that accent is. I am pleased to inform you that you have won the Nobel Prize. And then invariably somebody says, you got to be kidding. And then the person says, no, I am not, blah, blah, blah. We have just determined that you are the winner, and blah, blah, blah. Often they still refuse. They said, come on, who is this? And then there's a committee there, so they say, we believe you know Franz, blah, 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 blah. Can we put him on the phone to, and so they have a whole thing they go through with everybody because these people don't believe it. The biochemist, Stockholm, yes, thank you, Stockholm. The biochemist William Campbell, who got the medicine award on Monday, the first words out of his mouth were, you must be kidding. And then it says, like any good scientist, he wanted proof. He said, the first thing I did after saying, you must be kidding, is how do I verify that what you are telling me is genuine? Because he said it just seemed impossible. And so they told him, we have just, please go Google. He said, they told him to Google Nobel and medicine. And, of course, once Google said it was there, so whatever. So I think that's fascinating, though, that they don't it's not like you're sitting around like when you don't know. You don't even know if you're up for it. I guess it's sort of like those MacArthur grants then. It's like the Genius Awards. Nobody knows who's even in the running. I know, though, for the Nobel Peace Prize, there are efforts made to put people's names before the committee, but so even with that, they don't figure that one out until right before they actually award the darn thing. Tony in Bloomfield writes, Lynn, I hope it does not make me a terrible person. Ha! But the current champion on Jeopardy really annoys me. Let me tell you something. The current champion on Jeopardy, I pray every night for someone to knock him off. Please, God, don't let this guy win anymore. I can't stand him. I couldn't stand him from the moment he won the first time. I've decided he has a personality disorder, so maybe we should go a little easy on him. He clearly does not have any social skills at all. He is just a brain. He's so smart. He doesn't smile. The only time he smiles, it's a riot. The only time he smiles is at the beginning of the show when they introduce him and say, and our champion, blah, 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 whose current total winnings are, and now he's up, he's closing in on $250,000 now, right? I mean, he gets 40,000 every show, and he just keeps, nobody can not get anywhere near him. And you don't like him. I so agree with you. My son will tell you, I rant, I rave. Every time he gets something wrong, I cheer. He's awful. He's a paralegal from Washington, right? And, God, please somebody. Listen, here's what I said to my kid, and I'm sure I'm right. The Jeopardy people can't be happy because he is unlikable. It's clear he's unlikable. I'm so not surprised, Tony, that that's your reaction. I have talked to nobody about this. But I know in my heart of hearts that probably 95, 98, 99% of the audience wants him gone. So I bet they're pulling out the stops to try to find someone who can knock him off. But, wow, he's good. Although I knew some stuff he didn't know yesterday. I forget what it was, but I did. Anyway, Tony writes, he's so smart, and yet I can't stand him. I've heard you say that you watched the show and was curious about your thoughts. Maybe it's the guy's fake smile, but I watch every night waiting for him to fail. Tony, I'm with you. I am so there with you. No, you are not alone. Okay. And, oh yeah, I forgot this one. This came overnight. First, I want to express my admiration. Thank you for your show. I listen to your program every day. I'm very worried about the state of things. Like everyone I know, and pretty much since Columbine, I'm deeply worried by the lack of action after the horrendous shootings we read about in a bizarrely routine fashion. And today I came across this post by Piers Morgan that quotes an alleged Facebook post by Ben Carson that reads, quote, as a doctor, I spent many a night pulling bullets out of bodies. There is no doubt that this senseless violence is breathtaking, but I never saw a body with bullet holes that was more devastating than taking the right to arm ourselves away. And you couldn't believe, John, that this was true, that a doctor could say that. It is true. It was all over the news. It's true. John went so far as to say, I sent him an email asking if he really posted that heinous thing. I even told him I'm a father of 2 and that both my children were very close to death in different occasions. You can read the whole article I'm more here. Thanks for your timely. Well, no, he said it. He's nuts. He is nuts. Who? Would Jesus? Hey, Carson, would Jesus say that? Would Jesus say that your right to arm yourself is more devastating to him than seeing a human being with bullet holes in their body? Huh? This is what I don't get about all these Christians. I don't get it. Lots of emails coming in. Oh my God, Laura! You're kidding me. Laura likes the Jeopardy champ. Oh, she thinks he has Asperger's. I guess I feel bad for underdogs in social skills. Well, you're a sweetie, Laura. He's driving me crazy. I even, between him and that kid at the game, I don't know. Agatha writes, she too thinks he has some type of problem. Don't know what he will do when he loses. I can't stand watching him. Right? I said to my son, I think he's what we say now, on the spectrum. Well, I mean, there have been people before who are on Jeopardy who do well, who you don't like. I mean, some people have come across as likable, and some people don't. This guy is exceedingly unlikable. And he ain't an underdog anymore, Laura, so you can actually start rooting against him because he's got $250,000. And I can't imagine what he'd spend it on. Sad. It is sad, but he's ruining the game for me. I'm not enjoying myself. And that's part of my routine. It's the only thing I routinely do. 7 p.m., Jeopardy. Chris wants to know, am I going to Off the Record tonight? I'm not able to go, so you can give a review on tomorrow's show. Always love the production. Sorry, I'm going to miss it. Chris, I do have tickets. I'm feeling so sort of unwell that I'm playing it by ear. Whether I will be. If I do not go tonight, if my maternal self says, you stay home and get in bed, it will be the first time I have missed a production, and this is their 15th. So, guys, you can walk up and get tickets. They're not sold out. So that's at the Byam Theater tonight. Doors open at 6:30. The show's at 8. And it's always fun. Always fun. And it's worth it just to go see Ken Rice, who MCs it, give his opening monologue. He's genius. It's genius. And sometimes funnier than the show itself. And then there's what's always called a prebuttalist. I was one once. And they come on and have some fun. Usually there's somebody who is going to get skewered in it. And that is Braddock Mayor and now senatorial candidate John Fetterman will be. So he's worth going to see probably for whatever he's going to do. And Laura writes, oh, I forgot to add, I work with a lot of people who lack social skills. She's at the University of Michigan. Academia, she says, seems to attract them. Well, yeah, because they're bookish and they live in their heads and they don't know how to, I agree. They do. Okay. Well, I can be socially awkward too. And actually I'm out of time now. So, hey, thanks. I enjoyed the show today. When I enjoy it, I just always assume you enjoyed it, which is obnoxious. But I hope you did. And talk to you tomorrow, okay? Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.